Welcome back. In today's chronicle, we're journeying right into the heart of darkness. See, with their mission in Cauldron finally wrapped up, the Misfortunate Bastards got a chilling new directive from their guild. What we're about to go through is a record of their very first steps into the mist-shrouded land of Barovia, and into a house that, well, a house that hungers. Let's get started.
It all kicked off with this simple, absolutely terrifying plea, spoken by a child just standing in the middle of a dead street. This one sentence was all it took to pull the party into a total waking nightmare. This right here is where their story in Barovia really begins.
So, after taking down the vampire Drakthar and completely dismantling that mercenary army under Cauldron, the bastards got their new assignment. A guild member was missing, and there were these whispers of a dangerous cult growing out in the east. Their destination? The remote, unknown, and frankly dreaded land of Barovia.
You gotta picture this. Their journey east took a full week, and it was just endless rain, and this growing sense of dread. Then, on the seventh day, this thick, totally unnatural fog just rises from the ground, swallowing the road behind them. It was claustrophobic, a magical mist that literally seemed to be hurting them, leaving only one path visible, forward. And then, just as suddenly as it appeared, the fog parted, revealing their destination.
And there it was, the town of Barovia. Except it was basically a ghost town. Boarded up windows and oppressive, heavy silence. The only signs of life at all were two small children, a boy and a girl, standing all alone in the street. They said a monster had taken their baby brother and trapped him in their house, a tall, menacing manor at the very end of a lane.
So, despite the outside looking all run down, the inside of the house was pristine. I mean, polished wood, spotless floors, fine furniture, but that perfection was just so unsettling. Something was deeply, deeply wrong. The party could feel it in the air, this feeling of being watched. And well, they'd soon find out they were absolutely right.
As they were looking around the main hall, they saw it, hidden in the really intricate carvings of vines on the wood panels, were the snarling faces of wolves. Their little wooden eyes seemed to follow their every move. Then they look up and they find more. The crown molding along the ceiling, it wasn't just decorative scroll work. No, it was a whole mass of writhing serpents, their forms all woven together in this seamless, sinister pattern.
And on the dining room wallpaper, painted right there amongst the fruit and flowers, were these subtle, watching eyes. The message was crystal clear. This house was alive, and it did not want them there.
The party's search led them to a library that was just filled with forbidden texts. And it's here that Indy, the party's rogue, puts that keen eye of hers to work, discovering a secret door hidden behind a bookshelf. Inside this dusty little study, slumped against a chest, was a skeleton, wearing the sigil of their guild. They'd just found their missing comrade.
Inside that chest was a letter, and it was penned by the mysterious lord of this land, a guy named Strahd von Zarovich. It was talking about the very cultists who apparently worshipped him, but the tone, oh man, it wasn't gratitude. It was pure, absolute contempt. This one letter established Strahd not just as a villain, but as a power so immense that his own followers were literally beneath his notice.
So with the, let's call it mundane search over, the house began to reveal its more supernatural secrets. The bastards weren't just explorers anymore, they were trespassers in a place of real tragedy, and the spirits of the dead were starting to wake up.
They walked into a child's nursery. The air just went ice cold. A small cradle stood in the corner, and it was draped in this black shroud. When they pulled the cloth back, hoping, praying to find the baby brother they were sent to rescue, all they found was a thick layer of dust. The silence in that room was heavier than any scream.
So, checking out this large mirror in the master bedroom, they find it's hiding an alcove, and inside lay the body of a woman, a nursemaid, stabbed over and over. The instant they uncovered her remains, her spirit just burst forth, a furious, screaming phantom, lashing out at them with these spectral claws.
The fight was sudden. It was terrifying, but Matthias, the party's cleric, he throws up his holy symbol, channeling divine power to hold the spirit back, while Rothon, their warlock, just unleashes these blasts of pure arcane energy. The combination of holy and eldritch power was just too much for the phantom, and it dissolved with one last, agonizing shriek. Okay, so the threats were escalating.
Big time. It wasn't just the lingering ghosts of the dead they had to worry about anymore. Now the actual objects in the house were coming to life, turning this place of quiet dread into an arena of sudden, violent combat.
As the party is moving across a second-floor landing, this decorative suit of armor just clatters, its joints groaning as it steps right off its pedestal. Its gauntleted fist swung with the force of a battering ram. It was a mindless construct, animated by the house's own malevolent will.
The party jumps on it, their weapons just sparking off this enchanted steel. But it was Toriel, the swashbuckler, who saw his opening. With the grace of a dancer, he dodged this crushing blow and thrust his rapier right through the helmet's neck joint. The construct's head popped clean off, landing perfectly on the tip of his blade, a pretty great testament to his deadly precision.
A little later, Indy goes up to this suspicious-looking door to check for traps, but the door suddenly lunges, slamming into her and revealing its true form, a monstrous mimic. It just engulfs the poor rogue, its sticky skin trapping her. Garth, the party's barbarian, rushes in to help, but his axe gets stuck fast. Seeing them both in trouble, Matthias yells for everyone else to stay back. From the back line, August the Ranger's arrows and Rothan's eldritch fire just rain down, finally blasting the creature to pieces.
After they pulled a very bruised and very sticky Indy from the monster's remains, Garth actually managed a grim smile. He ripped his axe free from the goo and just growled, "Next time, we knock first." A little bit of dark humor in a house that really didn't offer much to laugh about.
So, having survived the house's physical attacks, the bastards finally made their way up to the attic. They were hoping to find the source of all this evil and, the answer to the children's plea. The air up there was just still, thick with dust and sorrow.
In a corner of this dusty attic was a small storage room. The door was simple, but ominously, it was barred and locked from the outside. Yeah, this lock wasn't meant to keep people out. It was meant to keep someone in.
Garth, being Garth, just broke down the door. And inside, lying on the dusty floor, were two small skeletons. The children they had met on the street, the ones who had begged them for help. They'd been ghosts all along. The spirits of these poor souls locked away to starve in the dark. As that horrible realization dawned on them, the spirits of the children appeared, but they weren't afraid anymore, just sorrowful and calm. They pointed towards this dusty dollhouse in the corner, a perfect replica of the manor. Inside the model, a hidden switch was revealed, and a section of the attic wall just ground open, exposing a secret stairway leading down into the true darkness below.
The children's work was done. Their ghostly forms began to fade, but before they vanished completely, the little girl whispered one final plea. "The monsters below, set us free." The party now knew the truth. The ghosts weren't the evil in this house. They were its victims. And the real monster? It was still waiting for them, down in the basement.